Smackdown review for the March 21st episode of Smackdown. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, live from Italy. Another one of the ones that started earlier in the day, but also late in the day, but also somewhere in the middle in the day.
Yeah, I mean, we
Not much else to really say to that, to
we
be
did
honest.
the thing. Bologna, Italy. It was on, and people caught it whenever they could. We were a little bit early on our live stream, but thank you all for stopping by in our live stream. Of course, come watch Raw, SmackDown with us, and PLEs. We do that. Like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. But let's get right into it. Randy Orton starts the show. Always good to see the boy. He's doing his normal thing, and he says, before he says anything, actually, he grabs the mic, puts it up to his mouth. Kevin Owens pops out, and he's reluctant. He's apologetic. He's desperate is what I call him. He starts going, I have something important to tell you, Mr. Orton. I was wrong for attacking you. I was wrong for pile driving you. You did not deserve that. But Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn did deserve it. I let my anger, though, get too much of me, and I ended up doing something that I regretted. I hurt you. You should understand that. You're the guy who has anger issues. You're the guy who hears voices in his head all the time, and it makes you do regrettable things. So let's leave this out or on the table. Let's forgive. Let's forget. And how about you and I? We team up going into WrestleMania together. Let's go get those tag team title belts at WrestleMania. How about that? And Randy responds by going, you know what I should do actually is kick you right in your face, is what he says, and I should come kick your ass. And he goes, what you just said is actually intriguing for me in terms of the tag team championships. It does sound intriguing, but no, I'm not going to do that. My answer is no, because all you do is bitch, Owens bitch, which was a good line to drop there from Randy Orton. I always like that. He goes, I'm glad you pile drove me now. He goes, now I hear the voices again. I hear the voices in my head again. He gets real excited, and he goes, at Mania, I'm going to kick your head off of your shoulders. And music hits, and that was that. And that's all I really needed. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens is now officially set for WrestleMania. Randy Orton has one thing in mind. All he wants to do is punt Kevin Owens in the face, and I can't wait for it. I loved all of it. I'm popping it.
I mean, Kevin didn't technically agree to this match, so they said it was official, and I was like, whoa, wait a second here. What's Kevin saying this thing? This was good. I mean, this was all you really needed. Yet Randy doing like a Stone Cold accent accidentally at one point, and then he dropped a rock line about shoving it straight up his ass and all this stuff. And Kevin being apologetic, really enjoy that because he knows he's about to get destroyed. Part of me though, I'm going to agree. The punt's going to happen. We're all going to cheer. Yes, this man just got his head kicked off. That's awesome. I wonder though if throughout the match he keeps going for the punt so much that it becomes a detriment. Like ends up costing him so much. Maybe that's how they end up booking the match.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd be down for Kevin Owens walking away with a win here. I still want Randy Orton to kick him, so maybe you do get some sort of Kevin Owens figuring out a way to avoid the punt, pin Randy Orton in some form or fashion so that you just say, hey, Kevin Owens has a win over Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That'd be big. Given his heel streak that he's been on, it'd be nice to keep that momentum for him. And then, of course, you'd have Randy Orton attack him afterward, and then bada boom, you get a head kick and all the good stuff. But no matter what, I think the match is going to be one of the best matches of all of WrestleMania. It's going to be a heated rivalry going into it. We knew it was going to happen. Now we have it. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, before people in the comments destroy us for that take, we're still both going to pick Randy Orton, though.
Yep, 100%.
But it would be cool, play devil's advocate a little bit.
Exactly. Then we would have Damian Priest and Big Jim Uso coming out for their tag match against Drew McIntyre and Shinsuke Nakamura, but Damian was not waiting for anything to happen while Drew was coming to the ring. Damian got out of the ring and met him halfway up the stage, which, by the way, was a really cool stage this week. It was slightly different than normal. Cool stuff here in Italy.
Yeah, real big screens.
Yeah,
too.
real big.
I like the big screens.
And then,
I like
it went high. It was cool. Anyway, they start fighting in the entranceway and make their way all the way up to around where the ring is. And then Shinsuke, the teammates, obviously out there. So it's Shinsuke and Drew, and Damian backs away at the perfect time when a flying Big Jim Uso comes over the top rope, takes out the other team of Drew and Shinsuke. Good suicide dive to start the match here. But eventually we would have Shinsuke Nakamura and Big Jim going at it. And Shinsuke, it didn't Kinshasa him, but a big boot that booted Jim over the announce table.
Yeah, big knee. Yeah,
big knee. It was pretty cool.
Well, no, a big knee off the apron later on.
Was it off the apron?
Yeah.
Anyway, Priest would get a hot tag in. He'd start doing all of his stuff. He loves that new old school into the crossbody move. He's doing that on everybody now.
He almost jumps over Shinsuke every time.
Yeah,
it scares me because he clears Shinsuke almost every time.
He's a big dude. But Drew would come in and stop the attacks from happening because, Damien's beating up on his teammate. But Big Jim would end up sending... So all hell breaks loose at that point, right? Because Drew is in the ring now. All 4 men are in here. Big Jim sends Drew over the top rope. And while Jim's dealing with Drew on the outside, Damian Priest does get the South of Heaven on Shinsuke Nakamura. Gets the pin here, 1, 2, 3. But Drew takes care of Jim on the outside and then attacks Damian Priest on the inside. He ends up stomping him in the mat again, does his stomp to the back of the head, ends up hitting the Claymore, looks at him in the eye and says, "At Mania, all I have is this. Every time you get up, I will put you down over and over and over again." So we get more of that, which is fine. I'm okay with all this. I thought the match was a little underwhelming, but the work that it did for Drew Damian was enough for me to like it. I'll give it a pop.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a pop, but it's it's not by much.
Yeah.
Especially Big Jim and Shin. Now we don't really get a story for them at all. Obviously, the focus is just Damian Drew. You obviously want Big Jim in the U.S. title scene.
I do.
But nothing really here for him. Just kind of more of the same from Drew, but as I was watching it, I found myself thinking that I can't wait for Priest to get that revenge, and we get that same sort of thing with Priest talking to Drew. Drew's laid out after a South of Heaven, and you get a little fiery promo from Damian like that. I'm really excited to see that. I think that's what's going to end up making me more excited for this feud. We talked a little bit about how do you kind of up the excitement level. This helped a little bit, but you give me a fiery Damian promo after an attack, good to go.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's not much more else to say. We all know that Drew is going to kind of carry this feud in terms of the mic work. Later on in the night, he had an interview with Kathy Kelly, and he basically reiterated his points that Damian has been the guy that has reaped the benefits from everybody screwing over Drew McIntyre over the past years. So that's kind of what he's doing. They're going to meet each other next week in London. So we're probably going to get the official announcement of the match there, but they're doing all the right things. They're doing all the right things for a rivalry that a lot of people thought was, going into it. So
yeah. And he, in that little promo with Kathy, he said, everybody says I complain a lot, but all I do is tell the truth.
Where am I lying?
So just kind of poke holes in my logic. Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
So I thought that was nice.
All right, then this next thing happened. We get ourselves a Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair interview. It was like the style that they used to have Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins do back in the day, where they literally took up the entire screen. Half the screen was Tiffany, half the screen was Charlotte. They're in different locations, and things went off pretty quickly. So Tiff would get asked a question. I think it was Joe Tessitore mediating.
Yeah. Joe just asked a question from the announce desk.
Yeah. Joe asked Tiffany a question, and she started speaking, but Charlotte right away goes, "Nope, Queen speaks first." She goes, "I bring out the best in everybody, Tiffany. So the only reason you're here is because I'm the one bringing you here." And she goes, "Tiffany, I chose you because I felt sorry for you. You think that you're me. This entire time you've been acting like you're the new version of me. Like you're the equivalent of me. No one is the equivalent of me. You are not special. Mania will be nothing to me, while it will be the pinnacle of your career, even in a loss to me." And then she calls Tiffany delusional, and Tiffany tries to come back and speak and say, "Delusional? How can I be delusional? You are the one that supported me all along. You were there for me in the very beginning. You're just mad because you know I'm here to take your spot." And Flair goes, what are you talking about? No one can take my spot. I'm here to try to find some real competition, which you are definitely not that real competition. You're not even the hottest thing on SmackDown right now, let alone the best competition on SmackDown. And Tiffany, at this point, struggling to even get words in, just goes, "You're just struggling because the fans don't even want you to come back. They all know that it's Tiffy time." And we end right there. This Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair interview was as close as you can get to a verbal squash match on the mic. Charlotte Flair decimated Tiffany Stratton here, man. Decimated her, and it does not look good for Tiffany Stratton going into the rest of this feud. I gotta pop this. I'm gonna pop it because of the decimation that was Charlotte Flair. What a way to cook on a mic.
I'm gonna drop it.
Oh,
Charlotte, don't get me wrong. Like, Charlotte did fantastic. Charlotte was great. You could really tell throughout this the difference between promo reading off of a teleprompter because Tiffany is looking down multiple times throughout, and somebody with Charlotte in terms of, hey, here's like the basic things we want you to say. Go ahead, you run with it. You say what you want. You say what fits in. You're the pro here. Oh man, this, I mean, you said it. As close to a squash match on the mic as you can get. We talked a little bit about, yeah, it would be nice to see Tiffany cut a fiery promo. She kind of showed last week, hey, I can step to you athletically in the ring. I've got the moves. I've got the talent. I can keep up with you. Let's see it on a mic. They did the backstage promo segment, to your credit, like you said, maybe to kind of protect Tiffany a little bit. Maybe they were a little bit unsure about that. God, this showed how good Charlotte is and how Tiffany's not to that level yet. It made me a little less excited for the feud because I was like that, and that's why I'm dropping it, because I'm like, yeah, great. Yeah, Charlotte cooked her. That's fantastic. That's awesome. But now I'm like, oh no. Like it's a bigger, I know they have time, but let's preface that before everybody goes, well, they have 4 more shows. Yes, we know that. But this is kind of a big thing to come back from, and I don't know if Tiffany's going to be able to recover from that.
Yeah, I popped it because I love watching stuff like that. I love watching masters on the mic in the ring, or just masters on the mic in wrestling. And Charlotte Flair proved that she is still that, which, you know, people were kind of doubting her when she won the Rumble and all this stuff. And I kept saying, look, she's great in the ring and she's one of the best on the mic. It's going to be good stuff. Now, Charlotte almost sort of buried this feud in one way, because I feel like she just established such a gap between Tiffany and Charlotte on the mic. Like there's no coming close to it. Tiffany cannot hold a candle to Charlotte Flair on a mic whatsoever. So you have to make sure that anything you do physically, you kind of even them out. And you do, if you critique last week when she did the moonsaults off the top rope and off the set, you go, well, she missed, which I didn't think was that big of a deal. But when you're this far of a gap on the mic, you kind of got to start nitpicking the physical stuff more closely like that in order to say that this person can actually deserves to be in the ring with this other person who's at this level. We love Tiffany Stratton, and we do have a month left, and I hope she gets there because I want this feud to be fantastic. But tonight kind of, you know, tonight kind of solidified our fears. It's like, yep, Tiffany can't get on the mic and cut it with Charlotte. We can't do that. We can't do the feud that way. So it's like, okay, what do they have in store for us next? How are they going to fix this?
Yeah, like you said, it kind of solidified the fears. We had it on our like wish list of, hey, I hope this match happens because it would be a great match, and I think it still will be a fantastic match. We definitely did say, though, one worry I have is Tiffany on the mic. It definitely gives people that say Tiffany can't cut a promo, it definitely gives those people a huge backing, a huge leg to stand on tonight. Like I said, we talked a little bit about the structure thing in terms of giving somebody lines versus, hey, here's an idea, run with it. And Tiffany obviously is not comfortable, or maybe they don't trust her enough to give the bare basic kind of points and then you run with it. So she's got more of a structured promo style. As great as Charlotte was, as great as Charlotte needed to, I guess she kind of thought, hey, I need to remind people I'm Charlotte Flair.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a cut on the mic. I'm going to destroy that. She's not in my league. I'm better than you. Yeah, that was all fantastic. From WWE side of things, it probably would have been a little bit better to structure both of them. And that's probably something you're going to have to do. Even if it does sound structured and generic, that might be what they have to do.
I think WWE is really looking at this as a sink or swim moment for Tiffany. It's like, okay, well, we're giving her the reins to all this stuff, and we're putting her up against the best of the best in the past 20 years of women's wrestling, really. And some would argue all time. And it's like, okay, what can she do? We're going to let her, give her the full reins. Like I just said, like, Charlotte's going to go no script, bro. So what are you going to do? And if Tiffany's going to have to sit there and read teleprompters while Charlotte's just in her bag, like, there's no chance here. So,
yeah. And you could definitely tell that you could tell very early on that Tiffany got flustered. Like, you could tell she was like, oh, I didn't expect this.
The second they started and Charlotte went, nope, Queen starts first. It was like, oh, Tiffany is
the tone switched like instantly. The mood, it was like, oh
yeah, like literally it was that quick. It was like, and it was just whoo. So I encourage people to watch this because we love Tiffy. I'm going to continue to love Tiffy. She can easily still be the future. This doesn't need to be suffer and succotash from Roman Reigns, right? Look at him now, he's fine. But this was a little bit of an L today for her. But A lot of time.
Yeah, like you said, plenty of time. 4 weeks. They can go into damage control if they need to.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
LA Knight's backstage. He runs into Braun Strowman where he goes, hey, I want you to beat up on Fatu tonight because he deserves it. And Strowman's like, well, that was my plan. But also, I just heard from Nick Aldis that winner gets a title match against you. So I want to win tonight. And LA Knight goes, yeah. And we get that
And then
next.
Braun goes, yeah. Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, he called him fat too.
I don't
Mean.
know. I don't know why he said it like
Pretty
that.
mean. We get the U.S. number one contender title match next, or U.S. number one contender for the title next. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman would get a ton of offense in here. Like a lot. He was kicking the shit out of Fatu for a long time.
Most offense we've seen a Fatu opponent get.
Yeah.
Which is Braun Strowman. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I get he's supposed to be a monster, but come the hell on, man. And he would do the running around the ring thing until when he did that, Fatu actually moved and then threw him over the announce table, and he was getting some offense in here. Jumping. He went up to the apron, jumped off the apron, did a clothesline, kind of like how Braun does, Braun Breaker, and but he didn't hit Braun over the table. He just kind of hit him on the side of it. But he get him in the ring. He does Samoan drop, all the good stuff from Fatu. But Braun would have a comeback where he would get his run around the ring thing and hit him, get into the ring, spinebuster Fatu win. Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa showed up. And
Bwah,
they,
bwah, 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 bwah,
bwah, bwah,
bwah.
bwah, bwah.
No music, but
So great.
No music, but you got to do it.
Solo walks in the ring, spikes Braun Strowman. Bada boom, DQ. Forgot the rules of wrestling, I guess, but that means Braun Strowman gets to move on and fight LA Knight. Fatu's pissed. He gets up, but instead of like making it a moment in the ring at the time, he ends up joining in on the beating up of Braun Strowman. When you were like, "Where's LA Knight?" Well, LA Knight came out, and LA Knight came out to save Braun Strowman, who's going to be his opponent next week. And they beat up on Bloodline 2.0.
Yeah, LA Knight clears the ring.
Yeah, they clear the ring, even with Fatu in there. So that happens, and then we go backstage. Fatu's pissed off. He's breaking everything in the back. He picked up a pizza barrel, said pizza on the top, but threw that thing.
There's a bunch of dust in it, though.
Yeah, a bunch of dust in it. I don't know.
No
what that
pizza.
was. No pizza.
Where's the pizza?
Where's the pizza? And he's breaking everything, and Solo walks over, and Solo's like, hey, it looks like, or he's like, Fatu, calm down. It looked like, and Jacob's like, what did it look like? Tell me. He goes, you trying to help me? This ain't your business. Stay out of my business. And he storms off. It's a lot to break down here.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this whole thing a drop. I am. And the reason why is that I absolutely hate that Jacob Fatu is getting beat up by Braun Strowman. I hate that Bloodline 2.0 thinks that Braun Strowman is such a threat that they need to help Jacob Fatu after the way we booked Jacob Fatu for the first 6 months of him being here. People are going to probably hate on that because Strowman is a monster, and I get that. But I'm over Braun Strowman. I don't like the way Fatu looked tonight, but I'll drop this, and then we'll get into the big stuff afterwards. So
okay, so we'll get into that. Okay, then then I'm dropping that.
Yeah,
I think it's important to differentiate the two.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, it's Braun Strowman. It's 2025.
Yeah.
Not much else needs to be said. When he came back and he took out Carmelo Hayes, it was like, oh, what the hell is this? Get this off my screen. And then Fatu destroyed him at Saturday Night Main Event, and I was like, cool. And then he came back, and then Braun Strowman just keeps popping up, and if you're a Braun Strowman fan, that's awesome. He's always just been a big guy to me.
Not our cup of tea.
No.
Not our cup of tea.
No.
That's really all it is.
And we just know it'll be a 1 week thing.
Yeah.
Next week, LA Knight. Boom.
Yeah.
But
more important stuff here. It looks like we're finally getting the beginnings of the cracking of Solo and Jacob Fatu. Solo cost Jacob Fatu his number one contender match for the U.S. title by spiking Braun Strowman. Fatu's pissed. Solo looks like he's backing up a little bit. The beginning of this rivalry has begun, and I couldn't be more excited about it. I will give that a pop.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a pop as well. Tama Tonga looks confused, hurt. He didn't know what to do. He's like, I helped out Solo, but it hurt Fatu. What do? I don't know. I'm stressed. Tonga Loa's somewhere. This did exactly what it needed to do in terms of Solo and Fatu. You get the interference, and I had that under control. You cost me. How could you cost me at something like that? So just something so small and simple. If Solo thinks he's doing the right thing for the family, the right thing, helping out his family member. Fatu's probably going to bring it up that hey, you've never held that before. So maybe there's a little bit of jealousy that comes into play, but it's all going according to plan here. Obviously, Fatu's going to be the overwhelming crowd favorite, and Solo's going to be the kind of one that suffers a little bit here. We know what we're going to get here down the road. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, it's as simple as this needed to happen. This was one of the most obvious feuds that needed to get going into WrestleMania. And now we're finally starting it. We have a solid month to build up to it. They're gonna make Jacob Fatu the babyface in this, which is necessary because no one is going to boo that man ever. Solo's obviously proven that he can be a great heel going into a WrestleMania match, so it's going to be good stuff there. I just think this is a match made in heaven. It's going to be good stuff. There's really not much else to say. Jacob Fatu needs to win this match outright by 1 million, and it'll be fun watching Tama Tonga have to be the mediator and choose between mom and dad almost in that right. But this is going to be good.
Yeah, and I think that's important there at the end, and even Tongaloa whenever he does come back.
Yeah,
I think you do get them siding with Solo because Fatu is obviously fine on his own. He doesn't need any help. Not necessarily saying Solo needs help, but Solo kind of needs maybe a tag partner.
Yep, I agree. Piper Niven's coming out. She's coming out with Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. They're the Secret Harvest, with Chelsea Green being the president of it. But she is taking on Zelina Vega, and this match was slow. I will say, Zelina Vega got some new music, and it's awful. I don't know why we had to give her the whatever they're called treatment, the directors of the
Def Rebel treatment.
What's
worse, that or Lord. AJ Styles old song?
Oh, AJ Styles, because the downgrade was by a mile.
Ooh, I mean, this was bad.
If
that's a mile, this was 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah, it was close. This is bad.
8 mile.
8 mile. Ooh, good movie. Piper was too big. Zelina was too fast. That was most of the story of this match until Piper got the upper hand via some Chelsea distractions. And Piper they gave this match a solid amount of time, and Piper was dominating for 90% of it. A lot of slow offense here, a lot of dominating stuff, which she's the heel, right? She's the big person, the heel. That's point of it. They want to make it slow, methodical, make you boo her, right? So I get it. But eventually she would go for some sort of military press. Zelina Vega would reverse it into a chokehold, hit a couple meteoras, one off the center rope.
Mega Meteora,
which is pretty cool. And she'd hit this really cool satellite DDT. That Joe Tessitore was excited about.
Joe loved that.
I loved it.
Joe
loves it. If Joe loves it, I love it. But
Joe must have had DirecTV with the dish.
He did.
Satellite.
1-2 there when that was a little bit too close for comfort for Chelsea because she hopped up on the apron and Zelina went over there, punched her in the face. And when she punched her in the face, then Alba Fire on the other side of the ring gets on the apron and she went over there and kicked her or something like that.
Yeah, she kicked her on the she's on the ground and she does that thing where she kicks.
Oh, in between the Chelsea and the Alba Fire attack, she did get a 619. She get the kickoff. But by the time Alba Fire dealt with her or was over there, Piper was able to get up and did a running cross body, which I guess is her finisher now.
Hey, Jay hit one on Monday.
That's true. And that was enough. 1, 2, 3, Zelina Vega Piper Niven gets the win over Zelina Vega here. No shenanigans afterward. No more Secret Harvest stuff with Zelina Vega. I thought the match was slow. I would have liked a little bit more from these two because I was excited going into it. So I'm going to lean toward the drop on this one. But I mean, it's very slight drop, nothing huge.
Yeah. Like I said, before everybody in the comments comes at me, it was just a joke. I know Jay was trying to hit a spear. I know. Yeah. Don't kill me, please.
How dare you?
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pop this. Not by much. I'm going to pop it. One reason only. Secret Harvest did her job.
Yeah, that's true.
Did what she's supposed to do. That's it. That's all I needed. Yeah,
there really isn't much more to talk about this. They didn't give us any reason to assume this will continue. I'm guessing it will because Zelina deserves this type of spot, but nothing tonight from it.
And her and Alba Fire is going to be good.
Yeah.
We get that. So
we will get a couple interviews with Kathy Kelly tonight, one for Liv, one for Jade, setting up their match. Liv basically said that this is still personal because Jade sat there on her phone and was posting to Instagram over the past 5 months while she was injured, but didn't have the time to tell anybody that Liv wasn't the one to attack her. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I would be mad too, Liv. Good for you. And Jade was like, no, Liv disrespected me last week and has been disrespecting me, so I'm gonna deal with her, and then I'll handle Naomi. So we get this match up next. It was Liv versus Jade Cargill. Some fans made the most amazing thing, the Liv Elisa, Mona Lisa with Liv's face on it, which was absolutely incredible. It was great. But Jade would start with a big boot, and this stuff was, it was good stuff. They would start back and forth, going after their signatures, going after their finishers, but no one could hit it until Jade caught Liv Morgan on a crossbody and did a fallaway slam. And she did like 10 kip-ups today.
Yeah.
Jade was looking like $1 million.
Yeah. It didn't really show a lot of ring rust.
No ring.
For somebody that they said that has not had a singles match since I think it was August 9th.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
It was great. But Liv and Raquel at one point would just leave, which was a little bit weird. Middle of the match, they're like, no, we've had enough of this. We're going to leave. And And Jade was like, no, I'm not done with this. She would walk out there, grab Liv, bring her back, throw her against the apron, barricade, get her back in the ring, all the good stuff. But Raquel would eventually distract because Liv's getting beat up. And so Liv would get a code breaker off and get all the good stuff going. She hit the three amigos, all this good stuff, right? We get a big Jade come back into a spine buster. She hit like an F5. 1, 2, ooh there. When she hit that F5 and didn't get the pin, someone standing on the apron. It's Naomi in the sweetest gear ever, by the way. It was like caution tape gear. It was sick. I loved it. But when Naomi was there, Jade walks over. Naomi backs up off the ropes. This gives Liv enough time to jump on it into an oblivion, but Jade reverses the oblivion into a backbreaker, which is really nice. And at that point, Raquel hops up on the ring apron. Ref goes over to Raquel to deal with that. Naomi gets the belt, the tag team title, and hits Jade over the top of the head with it. That gives Liv enough time to get up, hit an oblivion. 1, 2, 3. Liv Morgan gets the win over Jade here, but we get more attacking afterward. Naomi would attack the hell out of her, ground and pound her, give her stomps. And then there was this cool little spot where Naomi had Jade on the apron and then shoved her off the same way that she probably did onto the car. And Jade hit the announce table like she did the car. So it was a little bit of a flashback moment for Jade Cargill here. But Liv and Jade put on an absolute show. I'm popping all of that. But the more important thing here is Naomi's back. She came and attacked Jade Cargill once again, did the announce table spot that was basically like the car spot when Jade got injured. This rivalry's looking really good. Jade looks phenomenal back in the ring. I'm full send on this. I'm ready for it.
yeah, I'm gonna pop this as well. The right person won here.
Yeah,
by the right means as well. This match was really good. It was really entertaining. We talked about Jade coming back. This was the right person to put in the ring with her. Liv is one of the best in the ring in terms of making the opponent look good, and that's what she did. And Jade looked fantastic as well. Like I said, didn't really have any ring rust at all. Didn't really show anything like that. We had one person talk about, why do we keep thinking Bianca was involved in this? After tonight, I will say Naomi showed that side of her. It is her moment. She seems like maybe it was just her. Maybe it was only her that did that. I thought it really took a step in the right direction. Naomi's kind of getting that shine that maybe she didn't get from us or maybe other people. But it's like, damn. Okay, I never really thought heel Naomi would work.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous with that. I mean, Naomi's been a overwhelmingly babyface her whole career, basically, right? And this was fantastic stuff.
I'm arguably more excited for this feud than I am Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair at the moment. I think Naomi is ready to do the best work of her career. She looks poised and absolutely ready to do it. And Jade, in that same respect, did really proved to me that she's improved in the ring like crazy. I mean, I know she had Liv in there with her, who is a great dance partner to be in there with for a wrestling match, but like Jade looked fantastic in that aspect. It looks like she is ready to carry a big time match on a big time stage. If they want to go ahead and push this feud and make it a WrestleMania match and we just get the payoff there, I'm 100% down for it because both these women are doing great work. They're deserved. I think the crowd would be behind it. I'm 100% ready for this feud. It's great.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. We weren't sure if that would make it or not. But after tonight, especially, like I was kind of on the fence, but after tonight, especially, like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Put it on there. It deserves it. I mean, it's the best storyline with the women's division.
Yeah, arguably.
So, I don't know.
Not even arguably, definitely.
I don't think it's arguable. But
that's Chelsea Green's on the screen. Speaking of deserving, Street Profits came out with some new music as well. That was actually pretty decent. I didn't mind it, but I say deserving because they started their celebration of their tag team titles by saying this is the first time in 4 years that they've been tag champs. I'm gonna throw a drop onto this just for that. I'm dropping it just because WWE wasted 4 years of the Street Profits talents. That's ridiculous. So I'm giving them an artificial drop here for one. But D'Angelo says, or Dawkins says,
who?
Yeah.
Tony D'Angelo's in the street.
Tony D's there. Dawkins is saying, us holding these titles made it all worth it, though. And Tez says, let's be serious. High or low, I can count on you, brother. When the Garza showed up and Santos is talking, he says, what a moment. You're finally chanced, but too bad it's going to end because we're ready to take him from you. And when they said that, the Pretty Deadly came out, yes, boys, and they said, that's pretty funny, Garza's. We're actually the number one contenders, so no, you're not taking it off him. And Santos was pissed. He wanted a match. Tez is like, you know what? We want that smoke. Let's go ahead and have ourselves a match right now, us two teams. And I went, okay, tag action. Let's do it.
It's your weekly SmackDown tag chaos.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. And Garza's would dominate 90% of this match. They really gave them a ton of stuff. They would even hit this, like, the new Garza specials, what they call it.
Yeah.
Where Berto had, or no, I think it was Angel. Angel had one of them into it's hard to even explain. It's this sweet, like, moonsault DDT.
It's almost like a gory bomb with like a springboard RKO.
Yeah, it really is. It's like a springboard cutter while the other guy holds. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But eventually we'll get a Tez hot tag and he would spine buster, everybody go crazy. There's also this really cool spot when both Garzas had Montez Ford in a military press position on top of the top rope. And Tez would flip off them, land feet, flat-footed, in the middle of the ring, and he was just standing there looking cool as ever because Montez Ford is the most swag out of anybody on the whole roster. And the camera was giving him action, and the crowd was going wild, and they let him soak it in for a minute. I was like, damn, that's sick.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's doing cool stuff. But he'd hop up on the top rope, hit a superplex on one of them. Dawkins would get back in the ring, suicide dive to one of the other ones. I don't remember who was who, but Tez would end up finishing. I think it was Berto off in the ring with a frog splash.
Yeah, he hit both of them in the suicide because he flew.
Yeah,
remember
he did.
He didn't really get a whole lot of height, but he got a bunch of speed.
But yeah, Dawkins did a suicide dive to both of them, threw one of them in. Tez hit him with a 5-star fog splash that he hit the roof when he
maybe
jumped
10
off
star
of.
at
10
this
star.
point, yeah.
1, 2, 3. Profits win. After the match, we would get an interaction between the Yes Boys and DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. The tag scene, the SmackDown tag scene is the SmackDown tag scene. It's crazy. It's good. This is all great. Popping all of it.
Yeah, really, really enjoyed this match.
Yeah.
Street Profits continue to show like, hey, we're arguably the best tag team you guys have in the ring. I know some people might have their favorites or whatever, but this showed just how good they are.
Yep.
And the Garzas looked really good too.
Yep.
The Garzas had a lot of cool moves out there. Just a great kind of kickoff for them. They had the nice moment in the beginning of like, hey, I couldn't have done this without you. I support you. I love you. I think Ford was like the minister to Dawkins' wedding or something like that at one point. So obviously they're super, super close, as you guys know. Just couldn't be happier for them. Really just a heartfelt moment. And then they just put on a great match.
Yeah, I mean, we've been sitting here preaching Street Profits for the entirety of our podcast has been out. I mean, Tez all day long, Dawkins all day long. Street Profits should continue. Street Profits should win the titles at Mania. They should retain, and we should get a long Street Profits reign because these guys are absolutely incredible. And if they don't retain, send them to Raw and have them own that division because they deserve to be champions at all times, in my opinion. They're that good.
They got that match next week against the Yes Boys.
I know. Yes,
that makes me a little nervous.
We're gonna get all the shenanigans. We're gonna get us our Mania match set up next week.
Uh-huh.
What we all came to see, though, we had Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins advertised for this show, and Roman Reigns was the one to start them all off. And I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We get Roman and Paul coming out, and he did the whole acknowledge me, Bologna, Italy. He goes, the OTC loves you. Because of that, I'm here to tell you that at the Rumble, CM Punk screwed me over. So guess what I did last week in the Garden? I screwed CM Punk over. Also, at the Rumble, Seth Rollins tried to kill me. So guess what I tried to do at the Garden? I tried to kill Seth Rollins. And by the way, I'm looking at my watch. I got about 10 minutes left here tonight in Italy. So if anybody wants to smoke, basically is what he said, come get it. Seth Rollins answers the call. And Seth Rollins gets in the ring and says, Roman Reigns, you don't realize that you messed up. You don't realize how dangerous CM Punk is to the WWE. And I was this close to finishing that off so we can settle our disputes. So you should have just let me do it. And he goes, Also, we cannot coexist. I get it. Our story is a long one. We have many chapters, and I get it. I know why you're here. It's because you and I should add another chapter to this long story, and when that happens, Punk shows up, so one by one, dominoes have fallen. And Punk comes out, and his hand's all taped up. I think he got injured in some sort of match or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just a cut.
But he says, my hand isn't taped up for being on a mic tonight. It's taped up to fight.
It's clobbering time.
Clobbering time, yeah. And he goes, neither of you know, or by the way, neither of you have ever beaten me without the other one getting involved. And he goes, Roman, by the way, I didn't screw you over at the Royal Rumble. It's how the Royal Rumble works. Every man for himself. You throw the other guy over the top rope. It's not screwing you over. It's called me winning and you losing. And by the way, I also saved your ass at War Games. Thanks for that. And because of that, I got to get a little favor from your wise man. But before we get to the favor, I want to say, Paul, thank you for delivering the tribal chief on a silver platter. And when that happens, Paul's eyes widen. He's like, whoa, no. And Roman turns to look at Paul because Roman's like, what does that mean? Are you setting me up here?
And Paul looks apologetic.
Yeah.
Like Paul's like, no. That's not what this,
Not what it looks like. Not what it looks like. CM Punk doesn't, the second Roman Reigns turns his head, CM Punk 6 on him. So Punk starts fighting. Seth Rollins starts fighting.
Microphone to the back of the head.
Microphone to the back of the head. Everybody donk.
I do like that.
I love when they do that. Everything's happening. They're fighting. I mean, no one's really getting the advantage of anybody here, right? Security comes out, all the people that you love to see. CM Punk rolls out of the ring at some point, gets onto the announce table. It cuts to him, and he points to the Mania sign. He's like, no, Mania. And then Seth Rollins gets the advantage. How does he get the advantage? I think he does a suicide die to everybody, right?
Yeah. He said everybody.
He suicide dies everybody. And then he points to the WrestleMania.
Yeah, he gets on the apron.
he points to the WrestleMania sign. And then while the security's breaking up everybody again, you see a mad Roman Reigns with a steel step, and he hits CM Punk with it. And then he hits Seth Rollins with it. And then he throws the steps down, and he gets onto the steel steps, and then he points to the WrestleMania sign. I thought it was so corny, but it was fun. And that's how we go off air. I think we continue fighting as
everybody's fighting. Roll. Yeah.
I mean, nothing more there. I mean, what more do you want? Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, they all take turns pointing at the WrestleMania sign. You had CM Punk sort of alluding to a Paul Heyman turn on Roman Reigns because he delivered the Tribal Chief on a silver platter. A lot of good stuff here to end SmackDown. I'll give it a pop.
Yeah, I'm popping this. Yeah. How can you not pop it? Yeah. And like you said, it was a little bit goofy, a little bit corny, maybe you could say, but I missed that.
Yeah.
And like this also is just like, okay, you guys really want to do this? Well, let's just resolve it right here. And then everybody gets their own point. I like it. Didn't really do a whole lot in terms of advancing it. You had a little bit of Rollins being like, we got some history here. You had Punk stuff, which I thought was really interesting. That's really what I wanted, was kind of more Punk Roman animosity kind of building up. So we got that with Punk kind of teasing the favor and Roman being like, well, what is this favor? Kind of, sort of. That's all I really needed. So sign me up. This is quickly, it's probably the feud I'm most excited for right now.
Yeah. I mean, we needed this little goofy promo segment to tie all the loose ends up and like establish why everybody is triangulating together into this one match. Because everybody, when this was rumored months ago, everybody was like, why is Punk going to be involved with this? How are you going to do that? Now we kind of get it. The reasoning from everybody. Rollins thinks Punk is like, the worst thing to ever happen to WWE. Roman is now a little bit worried about him stealing his wise man, stuff like that. What is the favor? And then you have the drama, which is going to be the favor and the wise man stuff. That's gonna eat at Roman throughout the entire thing. So now we have a bow on all of it. We have our motives from each side, and now we have the very obvious triple point to the WrestleMania sign. Like you said, we all hate each other, and there's that big thing coming up. We should just handle it there. And it's like, okay, that was corny and goofy. And you know what? Sometimes I love corny and goofy in wrestling. There's not much else to say. I'm looking forward to the match. It's going to be spectacular. Let's get to it.
Yeah, somebody had kind of commented on one of our videos that they wanted more pointing to the WrestleMania sign.
Oh, would you look at that?
Well, they got it tonight.
Whoever you are, I hope you enjoyed it.
They got it tonight. You had Randy too in like the background, the WrestleMania signs in the background, all that stuff. So yeah, tonight I thought was a really good job. We were kind of wanting like, hey, we only have a few matches here. Let's start making these matches official. We kind of got that tonight.
Yeah, it was great. We gave 14 pops to 5 drops tonight, and one of them was an artificial drop because WWE should never waste 4 years of Street Profits' life. Again, I'll stand on that. But thank you all once again for stopping by the live stream. I know that it's hard with this international crowd being able to time everything up correctly. So if you want to, you can hop into our Discord, which is in the link tree of our bio. And that's where we post when we will be streaming these type of things for Raw and SmackDown while they are overseas. And of course, we'll get into WrestleMania down the road. But follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to our podcast wherever you get our podcasts at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. And then, of course, like, follow, and subscribe and share to all of our stuff so you can get it right when it comes out. We love having more people involved in our community. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.